Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Yes. Welcome back. I said
Yes.
before you did. Welcome to the
Hmm.
Conscious Spirit Podcast. We are so happy to have you here.
Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in. We have great things to talk about today. But first, please, if you
Yes.
haven't already, subscribe,
Like,
share, do
hit
all
the
that.
notification bell.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You are on a listen only platform. You can still subscribe to our channel. They still let you, I think it's called something else.
I
Um,
think each one has a different name.
yes,
I don't know.
yes, yes. And you can also text us from there. We love getting your text from
Yes.
the listen only
Yeah.
platforms. We cannot respond to you when we don't know who you are, but we get great. We're just, that's really taken off and we're so thankful.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. Pretty
Yes,
awesome. And then, of course, the comments that come in through YouTube, we
yes,
appreciate those.
yes. And we can comment there.
Yes.
So.
And we usually do.
Yes, and we still don't know who you are because everyone has a different handle or something. So
Mhm.
occasionally they'll use your name, but I mean, you will use your name. Not they. I know who they is. So, Mari-Lyn,
Yes, Pam.
we have been on here for over an hour
Yeah. An hour, 11 minutes and counting.
before we hit record, and we realized what we were doing and thought, wouldn't this be a good podcast?
Yes.
And I think I actually did that when we hit record too, because I was like, hey, go ahead and like and subscribe. And
You
yes,
mean changing the subject?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I do. Yes. It's, it can be similar to bypassing. However, it's a little different.
Sorry. Got me choked up. What I oh my gosh, bypassing.
Yes,
Sometimes we don't know we're doing it.
yes, correct.
We Something's buried and we just don't know that we're doing it, and it sometimes has to be brought to our attention.
Yes,
What are you bypassing?
yes.
Most of the time when we're changing the subject, we know.
Yes.
Maybe not in depths, but we
Oh,
know.
and maybe not right at first. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, well, I have this to talk to you about, blah, 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 blah. And then in my mind, I'm like, you just totally changed the subject. You did not want to go wherever it is. So that was me with podcasting this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I kept changing the subject to something else.
And I mean, it's not always a bad thing. Maybe it's just an uncomfortable thing, or maybe there's too much excitement going on about something else.
Yes.
Um, but changing the subject happens a lot, a lot,
A lot.
a lot.
I had a friend who trained dogs. It was obedient training. It wasn't the show dog type. I mean, she still did shows, but they're not that show dog fluffy prancing thing. It was all obedient stuff. And if she would have her dog sit or heel or whatever, I don't know all the terminology, and he would start scratching, she'd say, he's changing the subject. And yes. And yeah, that's exactly right. And that's the kind of stuff that will happen when
Yeah.
you start itching to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
You can create a situation truly.
Sure.
Your body, Dava, can actually.
As you scratched your face,
Right,
sorry.
yes. See? Your body, Dava, will actually bring something up for you to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of a sudden your back starts hurting, or you feel like you need to stretch or yawn or something, or it's scratch your face because your face starts itching. Now my scalp is, see, oh my God. I can't.
Right? I know. I mentioned it and my face is like,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Changing the subject.
Yeah.
Changing the subject.
Yeah.
And when we bypass now bypassing, that's usually like, for me, when I think of bypassing, there's some wounding or something there that I don't want to talk about. I don't want to get in there. I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And changing the subject is more of, I just don't want to do that today, or I don't
I'm
want
just
to
not
go
in the
there. I'm
mood.
not in the mood. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it right now, even.
My vibration isn't matching yet.
Ooh, ooh, I like that.
That's what just came. My
Write that
vibration
down.
doesn't match what's being asked of me. So I'm going to change the subject
Boy,
until I can change my vibration.
that makes so much sense. And absolutely. Because I do that when, when like I wasn't ready for the podcast today. I had all morning. So we started podcasting late, even when we start on time. We start like at 10 a.m. or something. Today was not until a few hours later.
Mm-hmm.
And I had already had the whole morning. Today's my day where it's kind of, I just get to be by myself today, just me and spirit. It's kind of a yummy time when I just communicate with spirit. But I had all this extra time. So you're right. My vibration was with spirit and things that I'm working on and having these conversations. And I have, I'm an air sign, y'all know, so I work on 10 things at once. And so my brain is going, and tried to shift out of all of that to then sit down and do a podcast. My vibration was not ready yet. My vibration was not at the place that it is right now doing this podcast. You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you can feel that
Mm-hmm.
as I scratch my face. Isn't that also with people that read body language, like that's something that's supposed to be like you're lying or something when you talking and you scratch your face?
I think that's one of the things I have always not lying, but you're uncomfortable.
Hmm. Okay.
Something
Something's uncomfortable.
something isn't feeling quite safe or
And I would say me talking about this because I'm telling on myself. And maybe I'm not quite to that vibration yet. Maybe I'm not quite here yet.
um I think telling on yourself is being really harsh. Um
Okay.
Speaking truth.
All right. All right.
Yeah, I think there is so much what is that word? Misnomers.
Okay.
Yeah. You edit this part out, it's okay.
No.
We as humans tend to want to punish ourselves.
Right.
So by telling on yourself is a form of punishment.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no need for punishment. There's no need for, you're not ratting yourself out for not being in a vibration that made you feel ready to podcast.
So that's also part of, I had to look down to changing the subject. Is there could be a feeling of maybe not doing what you're supposed to be doing, that maybe there's this is, I will speak for myself. The feeling like you're going to be upset with me or something like that. And so just changing the subject, bringing up other subjects. So it appears that I'm not doing that, but I can get away with not starting the podcast or whatever. But you know me really well, so it doesn't really work with you, but I still apparently try it, right? I still try changing the subject. Said, oh yeah, we need it. Because we always have TCS business to talk about. So it's really easy to go, oh, you know what? We need to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
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 Yeah. And I'm wondering if we should open space, if that would help.
Ooh, would you please?
Yes. Yes. So you want to give a quick, just
Oh, yes.
sort of.
I'm ready for the opening of space. I was already there. So, yes, please. If you are driving, operating heavy machinery, doing something that requires your attention for your safety, please turn down the volume or pull over and stop. You can still allow the grounding and allow space to be open without actually being part of it. If you're doing something that you can just like put the kitchen knife down, put the diaper pins down.
Do they still use those? I don't think so.
So that's so funny. But that was the visual I got of somebody's about to pin a diaper on. No.
Yeah, you don't want to poke the baby.
Just put the pins down.
Oh boy, do we need this.
Boy, that was hilarious.
Yes.
Even with cloth diapers now, aren't they Velcro? Isn't everything Velcro?
I think so. Yes.
Oh my God.
No, we're disposable diaper.
I'm just an old lady. I don't know. What do I know? Oh my gosh. So just be safe, be mindful, allow the grounding, allow the space to be open, and then come back and join us in,
yes.
a minute.
All right. Ready? All right, Spirit, we thank you for this opportunity to come together today. Whew. We ask that each one of us is grounded, whether that means putting in a grounding cord that anchors us deep into the earth. If that's roots growing out of bottoms of our feet, or whatever part of us is touching a chair. Wherever you are right now, however it looks for you, we're going to ask you to be grounded, and we're going to ask your guidance to help you with that. Take a deep breath. Let it out. Thank you, Spirit, for this opportunity to come together in circle. We ask for your words of knowledge and wisdom to come through us as we channel your words along with our own experiences. And we have a beautiful conversation that touches everyone who listens and touches everyone in their own way, so they receive the information that works for them, that will make a difference in everyone's life. That's why we're coming together today. It's not just entertainment, it's to learn and grow and to receive clarity. So we sit here and ask for clarity today as we receive you into our lives. Thank you, Spirit, for this opportunity. We hold this vibration at love and learning today. And so it is. All right. Maybe that'll be better.
Thank you.
Better. It feels a little better.
I feel better.
Yes. Did that change the subject?
It
helped my vibration anyway.
It changed the vibration for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So
changing the subject is something that people do for so many different reasons.
Agreed.
To avoid pain, to avoid intimacy, to avoid love, joy, conflict, confrontation.
Yeah. And we do it in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And we can act in a certain way. Like, let's say someone asks, a friend, a coworker, someone says, "How are you today?" And you do I always have that stock answer, "Oh, I'm great, thanks." Sometimes I say, "I'm great, thanks, how are you?" But it's still that sort of stock answer, right? And
yes. And I have to comment on the shaking off and the standing up straight is part of changing the subject.
Yes. It absolutely
Absolutely.
is.
It's not just the verbal, it is the
Right.
full, all the whole
Yes.
body
Yeah.
thing.
And you know,
And
mhm. Go ahead. Go ahead.
what
Go ahead.
you
Sorry.
did,
Uh-huh.
what I saw my mother,
Oh, is that good? No,
well,
not in this
she
particular.
was really good when she would, someone would ask her, well, how are you? And she would like, I'm
Yes. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
she didn't want anybody to
Right.
know. And I'm going to say she didn't even realize sometimes how that internal had become
Yes.
external.
For me, when I do that, not always, but like with a stranger or something, it's because I've learned it's kind of a greeting. We sort of, hi, how are you? It's just kind of a greeting. They don't really mean it. And in
Mm-hmm.
the, in, and I think I do that myself too. When someone, if I say, hi, how are you? I don't always want to know. If it's like a stranger or something, like you're in line at somewhere, or you're at the grocery store, whatever, you just kind of run into someone. I don't really want to know. And so I always think that that's the same coming back. And I think it is. I think
Mm-hmm.
most people, it's just a greeting. You don't really want to hear it. Now, friends, you might actually, careful when you ask me how I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
A friend or a student or something, because I'm going to tell you. So if you're listening, don't, yes, don't
Yeah,
ask me that unless you're prepared.
I have actually gotten to a point of when someone asks me, and not a stranger, because total strangers, that's a different scenario, but if I am not in a particularly good place and someone asks me, how are you? I will say, do you want the generic answer or do you want honesty?
Which answer would you like?
I have gotten both responses. I
Really?
have gotten, oh, nope, generic's good by me.
That would totally be me.
Good choice. Good
Yes.
choice. And then I have gotten others. No, how are you? What's going on?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So it's shocking to other people though to
Yes.
have that be asked.
Yes.
You want the generic answer, or
Yes.
you really want the truth? Do you
You
really
know
want to
what?
know
Yes.
how I am?
You know what that kind of brings up for me is when someone is, and this happens, people can be rude, as you know. People
Oh,
can just say rude, whether they're actually meaning to offend you or not. Sometimes
mhm.
people will just say something, and when you look at them and say, "Are you trying to offend me?" And they go, "What? What? Who? Huh?" No, I've
Right.
never had anyone say, "Well, yes, I am."
Oh, I have.
To me.
I no, I have had someone come back with no, yeah, that no, I meant to do that.
Oh,
I said, kidding. No, I'm not kidding. No, that's how I feel.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
All right.
painful.
Yes. I still
Painful.
think it's a great way though. If someone insults you or something, or you're offended by them, something, just ask them.
Yeah.
Just ask. Were
Mhm.
did you mean that? And
Mhm.
and really, I want to know so I know how to now react to you.
Mhm.
Be honest.
Mhm.
Sometimes it shocks them. I would think it kind of shocks them into probably telling the truth like they did with you because they didn't expect that.
I'm sure she was just blown away.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Bitch.
as was I. I was like, oh
Mhm.
well.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
So here's another one.
Yeah.
This is more maybe more bypassing or something. So how are you, Pam? Fine.
I'm
I'm fine. As I'm
fine.
seething or something. I rarely use the word fine like that unless I'm hiding something. I don't want to say something. I don't want to, whatever. Like it's not a good moment for me right now,
Mm-mm.
so I'll say
Mm-mm.
fine.
Fine is never,
Fine.
never a
Never.
good answer from
No.
anybody
No.
unless you're talking about China.
What time of
Oh,
China
that
is that?
China is
Fine?
that is some fine China.
Yes.
It is literally fine China. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
that is the only time.
Hmm.
Um,
But that's,
yeah.
yeah.
So what is that called? An acronym? Am I allowed to say what the acronym for fine
Of
is?
course.
Fucked up, insecure, neurotic, emotional.
Oh, yes. That's how I would be feeling right now when I say fine.
When I say fine, that is pretty much how I feel too.
That means back the F
Never good.
up. Not a good moment for me. Yes. Now, okay is different. You and I do
Yes.
the okays, and we immediately know.
Yes.
And
There have been times. How many times have you wanted to say fine and you change it?
oh, yes.
Many, many times.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well, I don't know about many, many times.
certainly with you, I do, because I know
Yeah.
you're going to see right through it. And you're going to say, excuse me? Or what's happening? Or, oh, what's going on? But I'll change it to okay,
Mm-hmm.
which is a kinder way and
Mm-hmm.
letting you know it's okay to ask.
Mm-hmm.
But saying fine to you feels very rude and abrupt. And yes, yes. Hmm.
How dare you ask me that
Yes, yes.
question? Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to hear from the rest of you. How do you change the subject? Do you,
Yeah.
come on, just have a whole new subject there? Like, oh, you know what I did, or whatever, like I did today with you. Oh, I wanted to talk about this today. Or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I wanted to talk about this. And then we go to do something, or okay, we ready to start? Yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh,
Oh
I
wait.
dropped something. Hold on. Or oh, you know what? I need to go get some more coffee. I'll be right back. Or
Okay. How many times did I have to go get more water?
change the subject, change the subject. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's not, for me, that's not the same thing as bypassing. When I use the word bypassing, I am referring to you have some wounding coming up and you're just not ready to look at it. So you're bypassing through it.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Mm-hmm.
bypassing that's not, for me, that's not the same thing.
Not the same thing. No. Now changing the subject can be a byproduct of bypassing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So in the ways that everybody changes the subject, I'm curious if people are more inclined to talk about themselves in changing the subject or changing the subject to be about the other person that they're talking to
Oh.
or something completely removed from
Or did you
whoever
hear
you're
about so and so? Blah,
talking
blah,
to.
blah, blah,
Right.
blah. Gossip?
Gossip.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I used to, nothing was ever my fault. I was so freaking perfect. Nothing was ever, I never took accountability for myself.
You know what? I took accountability for fucking everything, so I made up for it,
Me, I was complete opposite. Complete. My husband, the poor man, how he stayed with me all these years is beyond me because everything was always his fault.
Oh.
Everything was, if I was in a bad mood or something, it's because he did something. Yeah. And thank God I'm over that. And I've healed so much of that. And I've taken
Mhm.
responsibility for it. And I have thanked him. And and he knows. I mean, we talk about it, how much work I've done on myself. And I can actually take responsibility,
Yeah.
accountability. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And yeah, same for me. I am so grateful that I have
yeah.
learned to heal and taken responsibility take an honest responsibility
Yes. Yeah.
for me and allowed other people to take responsibility for their own stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's pretty darn obvious when someone now at this stage it's not just our age, but all that we've been through with healing and everything,
Mhm.
you and I are really good about just seeing the bullshit. When
Pretty good.
someone, and
Yeah.
we don't always say anything. Like I'll let you just, go ahead, and this happens with people, whether they're students or clients or something, like they want to be done for a while. Like that's part of the process. We
Hmm.
work with them for a while, and then they take some time off, and then they might come back,
Right.
and so forth. And when they really just don't want to take, you see it come, you see it as they're telling you what the problem is and why they're not going to be back for a while or something. And it's like, okay, all right. Well,
Hmm. Hmm.
I in my head, I'm just thinking, okay, well, I hope that you see that you are totally removing yourself from this equation because you don't want to take responsibility for yourself right now.
Right.
You don't want to account for what you haven't done or what you have done, and you're
Right.
piecing out. Yes.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
at by this time now, it's it's pretty obvious when,
It's pretty clear.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty clear. And it makes me cringe because I know that I was that way for so long.
We all have to go through it.
Yeah, you do. It's
Yeah,
part of it all.
it is.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Oof. Yes. And so, yes, changing the subject. I'd like to hear from those of you who know that you do that and in what way that you do it. How is it that you're doing that?
Yeah.
Or even if you don't. So we open space. We're in this beautiful place of receiving.
Hmm.
Allow spirit to bring you that information. How is it that you are changing the subject or bypassing? Allow yourself to get sort of a visual on that. To yes, Mari-Lyn.
Oh, can't see it. I pick up my phone
Oh yes, that's
and
a great way.
it's 1:11.
Okay, that's funny. Perfect timing. So you tried to bypass and spirit went, oh, no. I see you.
But that is
I
that
see
is
you.
one way I change the subject
Yes.
just in everyday.
Yes.
Hey, cowboy saying, I know that's how you change the subject with me.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
When I'm supposed to be listening and I'm just not at that vibration, I will pick up my phone and I will just disappear.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's
I don't
it,
do it near as much as I used to.
it's easy. It's convenient.
Yeah.
It's a very physical boundary. So if someone's talking to you,
Hmm.
they get, oh, she's not going to be listening to me right now. Like she
Hmm.
just put up a boundary.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
It's also, oh, did you have something to say?
Well,
Sorry.
I was just going to say, I also use it to bypass. I
Yes.
use it for both things.
Yeah. You used to
And
have,
it's very, sorry,
no, go ahead. I keep interrupting you.
it's very clear in my brain now as I'm looking as how it's very different how I bypass and how I
Nice.
change the subject.
And
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think you used to have a game or two on your phone, and you don't have those on your phone anymore. So that's huge.
Hmm.
Because when
Hmm.
you have nothing, you pick it up and there's not nowhere to go. Like there's nothing, what you can only be on there so long if you don't have a game to play or social media to, which we don't really do the too much of the social media stuff.
I don't. Do you know what I will? This is almost embarrassing.
Oh,
I will
ooh,
pick it
that's
up
something.
and I will just look at all of my icons.
Oh,
Does anything need to be changed? Does anything need to go on a different page? Does anything need
wow, crap. You just gave me something to, God, now I have something new to do. Now I have a new way of bypassing. Damn it. Yes,
and that is a bypass.
yes,
That is not changing the subject. That is a bypass. Absolutely.
yes.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
I just thought of something that would be a great, but see, was I just trying to bypass this? Because something just flew in my head, a story. And that's what I'll sometimes do out of nowhere, right? If things pop in my head. Last week was Thanksgiving. My husband has something to do with it. Our oldest son and his wife were in Turkey. So I text him and said, Happy Turkey Day. Because I thought that was funny. I don't know. I just thought it was really funny. And
That's funny, actually.
but I just thought of that now. And so I was like, was I just trying to bypass on Mari-Lyn, or was I trying to change the subject on Mari-Lyn? And I think I was.
Sure.
I
Why
think
not?
I might have been. Like, I don't want to know this information that you're giving me right now. I think that was it. So I was trying to get away from it. I don't want another reason to have to go, or another way of, oh, now I can pick up my phone and change my icons.
Yeah, but it's not going to work because you already know once you do that, shit, I'm bypassing.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
it won't work.
No.
Yeah.
Certainly won't work with you, that's for sure. I can't get away with anything with Mari-Lyn.
Oh
It's
my
like, well,
gosh.
you know what? And I hope you all have a friend that same way, where you can't get away with your bullshit with that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, can be frustrating sometimes, but overall it's absolutely the best to have a friend that calls you on your shit.
It is. It is. I think though, I'm pretty sure that I have done this and you have may have done this as well. Please don't call me out on this. This is I'm just
Yes,
here it is.
yeah.
Don't call me out. I don't want to hear it. I can't
Yeah.
right now. I just need to.
Yes. So I need to qualify something or whatever before I speak. Yes. Can you just listen to me right now without giving me advice, without calling me out, without doing anything? I just need to speak right now.
I think the last time I did that was in text and I said, "Thank you for hearing me. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for not responding."
Yes.
I don't know exactly what I said, but there was
I think I remember.
and I thought she's going to know exactly what I mean.
Yes.
That I just needed to vent. I just needed to be heard, and you complied. Thank you very much.
I didn't follow up with, huh? What happened? What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. No, we'll get around to talking about it at some point if need be. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we don't do that very often.
No.
But there are times that we just have to.
Yes.
There's times we have to get something out. We're not ready to really deal with it.
No.
We're not ready to do any healing. We're not ready to do anything, but we got to get it out to start moving the energy. And
and
thank you for being such a safe place for me to do that.
Ditto, my friend. Yes.
Yeah.
My sister friend. And me with my constant, I'm better though. I think I'm better see, I did it again. I didn't finish my fucking sentence and I'm off to the next thing. That's part of being a double air sign. Woo! I'm all air and fire in my chart. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say, so I'm double water and fire. I do the same thing. I don't finish my sentences. My husband will look at me. He says, "You just started 3 sentences and you didn't finish any one of them." Sorry, I'm clueless. I don't know.
I don't know what I
said. Yeah, never mind.
Or we'll have a family get together or something, and I'll start doing that. And of course, my husband and kids, my sons, they're like, "What? What?" And Miranda will answer because she totally speaks Pam.
Totally speaks Pam.
Pam so well. When we used to work together, this is funny. We worked at Starbucks together, my daughter-in-law and I, which was so much fun to work with her.
Oh, I bet.
And I would do one of those things where I was a supervisor and I'd come out of the back room and I'd go to tell people what to, I'd give them their orders or whatever. I'd tell them what to do, blah, 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 blah. And then they'd be that same thing, like half sentence here, quarter of a sentence here, whatever. And I can't even remember his name right now. Oh, it makes me, but he was like 19 years old or something. And he'd say, okay, we're gonna play the game. What is Pam trying to say now? And he'd make like a game show. It was so funny. And he'd always say, Miranda, you can't play. And because she always knew. It's so funny. What is Pam trying to say now? He'd use his voice in this
Right. That's
game
awesome.
show host way. So funny. But I don't do that nearly as much as I used to.
But what a testament to his vibration,
Yes.
because he could have flipped that to be such a dirty, nasty, low vibrational
Could have.
insult.
Yes. You're right. And no, he never did.
Mm-hmm.
He always just made fun of me in this brilliant, in really a brilliant way. Not just making fun of me, like not just like trying to repeat what I said or being, yeah, you're right, being an ass. He made a game show out of it.
I think it's awesome.
It was so funny.
And it doesn't feel disrespectful even a little bit.
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
No.
And part of it, I will say, because my sons were about the same age. No, they were a little older because they were in college. So, but a little bit older. But I got the whole boy humor thing. Like it
Mhm.
just always made sense to me because of my husband and my kid.
Sure.
So yeah, it was never. It was hilarious. Yes. That's
That's awesome.
Yes. Anyway, yes, I don't do that nearly as much, but I still do. And I still interrupt you a lot, trying to get better.
Um,
Part of it, my brain just
so
goes so fast sometimes I can't keep up or slow it down.
that interruption piece,
Mhm.
I think there is no mistake that you and I were brought together, because you have taught me so many lessons and helped me grow so much around communication.
Mm.
Um,
Well, thank you.
there are times now I'm pretty sure you're talking and I just keep going.
Yes. Yes. So waiting. I remember.
And I had to learn that, though. I had to learn
Yes.
that your talking had nothing to do with my inadequacies or my adequacies. But that's how I always took it, right? Is I took it personal, and it was like, oh, I'm not supposed to talk, whatever, blah.
Right.
And you have helped me learn how to come out of that and talk. And I have even started interrupting you.
I know. And I have to say, I love it when you do. I do.
I don't. I hate it.
I don't.
And yet I'm learning that there are times if I want to say something,
Yes.
especially when it's coming from spirit.
Yes.
I got to just say it, because
Or
otherwise
it's never going to happen.
3 topics later, and I come in, hey, remember when we were talking about this and this came into my channel and I didn't say it, and
Yes.
Yeah, it loses all
Yes.
everything.
And we've talked, so I come from a big Italian loud family, and you just spoke when you had to talk when it would, or that exact thing would happen. And so you just kind of, and everyone talked over everyone all the time. And I can still keep up the conversation. Sometimes I can't, sometimes I get lost. But you have also helped me in that same vein with understanding that not everyone can handle that. It's not, it can be very rude to do that. And I never saw it. I remember people getting upset with me, but no one ever said, there was never sort of that point on it. You just interrupted me, and that wasn't fair. You hurt my feelings, or that wasn't kind, or I was really talking about something important to, whatever.
Yeah.
No one ever put it in those terms. They would just get mad and walk off. And then I sat there shaking because I really didn't know what just happened.
Yeah.
What the hell?
And So my mom was raised in a very chaotic, everybody talking over everybody. And I can even remember as a kid going up to visit her side of the family. And it's like, oh my,
Oh yeah. It's
a lot.
mind exploding.
And that's not how we were raised. We were raised, you waited, you didn't interrupt. You waited until someone was done talking, and then you spoke, and everybody waited until you were done. And
How
you know,
polite.
very polite. I was raised to be polite in the extreme.
And you know what that can do? Boy, ding, 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 ding. That can really squash innovation, passion. That can
Yes.
really squash that those beautiful organic things that are just coming up because you have to sit and wait.
Yes.
And if you have to wait for, say, 3 people to get done, or some really long-winded person to finish,
For the topic to change 3 times.
right? Right? I mean,
Yeah.
that could be really,
Yeah.
that could be, okay, boy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That could really be, and not to say that there has to be a happy medium. And I think we have come to, for both of us, a much better play and so much better communication because
Mm-hmm.
now I
Yeah.
need, because I can't just talk. I actually have to listen to.
Mm.
And you really taught me that piece. Like,
Oh, thank you.
Pam, bitch, you need to shut up and listen because she's really has something to say. It's not all about you. Hmm.
Those were my words.
No, they were mine, but they were absolutely mine.
Uh,
But it is.
and there is a happy medium.
I'm
Um,
a happy medium. You're a happy
happy medium. Yeah. Uh, and it's a really difficult dynamic for parents to navigate that happy medium place
Yes.
with children, as I have witnessed, and how, through family members, but even through friends and their children, in how they address children interrupting, and how, kids, everything is important,
Yes.
right? And they want to everything right now and right now. Teaching them the importance of not interrupting without squashing them.
Yes.
That has been that's been interesting to say the least in watching with my youngest great niece,
Yes.
who is 9, because I mean,
She is full of life, that one.
she is fire.
Yes.
I don't
Fabulous.
September. What is September? I don't know my signs. I swear she's a triple fire.
She could be.
Could be.
Yes.
Yeah. But trying to teach her that dynamic of respecting what's happening,
Mhm.
and that she is important enough to be heard, and
Yeah.
trying to allow room, um not that I am her, not that I teach her that, but in my dealings with her,
Mhm.
of trying to not squash,
Yes.
because that interruption piece, as you know well, is, there was some, I'm going to say, trauma, not just wounding. I think there was some trauma around that
Absolutely.
for
And
me.
and good for you for seeing that, for noticing it, because we can really, excuse me, as my oldest grandson turns 3 real soon. Yes, and he is the spit image of his father, and it is so lovely to watch. I just laugh at my son saying
Great.
all back right at you. But he's just little spitfire, and his brain is just moving, and he's moving, and he's got a lot to say, but his words haven't caught up to his brain yet. And it's that really frustrating time.
Sure.
And you get so frustrated, and he'll start crying or yelling, or he'll swat you or something, and it's from his own frustration. And we actually recently had a conversation about, how do we allow him, you don't want to squash it. You just
Right.
want to squash it.
Yeah.
Yes. Good for you for being mindful of that. Because that's a great, as an adult, even just as a child, but certainly as an adult, to have someone who has a mind of their own. They have their own thoughts and their own opinions, and they can express them, and that's beautiful. And to squash that is, I mean, we're unfortunately, we're going to wound our children. We're going to traumatize them. Sorry, in some way.
Yeah.
There's
That's part of the deal.
It is. There's
It
no
just
way
is.
out of that.
Mm-mm.
But we don't have to make it worse in areas where it doesn't need to. Like,
Right.
so if it's something that here's what, if it's something you're actually thinking about, make the effort in that area. Make the effort to not do that for whatever reason. If it's, I'm not going to be like my mother and do this to you, or whatever. I don't know.
And if it is something that is meant to transpire, you're going to end up doing it in a different way anyway.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And you're not going to know what type of parent you are until they're adults and they get married and have their own children, or whether they have children or not, just the adult, and you watch them sharing their life with other people or another person, however that is.
Right.
It could be so many different things. But as an adult, and when I say adult, I mean over the age of, like, into late
30s.
Maybe both of my kids are right around 30, and so I'm starting to see it, and but they're still in you're still in your wounded stuff at that age too. But yeah, I can take small wins and think, oh, they're both really great husbands, and the one is a really great father. So I try to take those wins when I can.
Good.
But you don't know, and that's the crappy thing about being a parent too. You don't know until they're older.
So they're older, for sure.
You don't know. You don't see everything. I won't tell you about the wounding stuff that I've done, but that's part of it. I just try to have some grace.
Well, I mean, it has to be, right?
Yes.
We came into this human existence to learn. And how do we learn best? Through wounding and healing.
Yes. Here's another something.
Yes.
My brain is on it today. I'm glad I opened space. We can certainly talk about this. When you see someone, like we talked about earlier, like we can see bullshit when someone's just bypassing or not taking accountability, or taking responsibility, whatever it is. We can see that because we've healed enough. And then there are also those things that we haven't healed and we notice in other people.
Because it triggers us into this blind.
Yes, like all of a sudden I don't like that person, and I have to go, Pam, why don't you like that person? Like, Pam, why are you upset with that person for just walking into the room? Because they walk stupid into the room because they have a real hurt, whatever, I mean, it's usually something really fucking stupid.
Well, when we start judging.
Yes, it's it's the judgy.
You look at somebody's body language and you start judging it, and there is something.
Oh, yes.
There is something. Maybe they haven't even spoken yet.
Yes.
but
Yes.
there is an energy, a signature of that energy that we recognize within ourselves that we need to heal, that we need to change.
Yes.
It's kind of brutal.
It is very brutal. Or
Mhm.
you kind of are really attracted to someone. And I don't mean like you're physically attracted to them, but like they're almost like this bright light and you're a bug and you can't help but like go toward them.
Sure.
There's something about them that maybe you're lacking and you want. Like, I want to have that confidence that that person has, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, that sense of humor, whatever
Sure.
it is. Um, I think that's all part of healing too, is to really start paying attention to your surroundings and
Mm-hmm.
your own feelings, your own shit, and how does that make you feel? And are you bypassing, or are you being really weird, like running toward them because there's such a bright, shiny light or whatever? You know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Woof. That's kind of, yeah. Well, there's some changing the subject and all that because you don't always notice either of those things. Especially if you like something about another person that you feel you're lacking and you're trying to get that and it's in another person. We don't talk about that a lot.
I'm going to say that's maybe harder to recognize.
Yeah.
Um, Especially if there is a trauma bond or an unhealed
Oh,
empathy in there.
yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because that you're leading with your wounding, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. The judgment piece, though, that's a screaming, it's time to pick up the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there many a time.
Mm-hmm.
And there are those times too where it's like, oh, I ain't looking. Because she's a bitch. It's not me. She's just a bitch, so I'm not going there. Oh
You
yeah.
know, one of I hate that spirit's bringing me this memory of this person that I just did not like. And the reason I did not like her is because she was always talking about her grief.
Oh, okay.
Um, grief that began, I want to say first and foremost, I know grief. I know grief inside and out. I have had plenty of grief in my life. So I'm not judging her for her grief. Okay. So 20 years she's experiencing this grief, but she lived in it.
Oof.
And at that point in my life, I was doing the same thing.
Yes.
And it made me so angry because
Hmm?
her grief wanted to overshadow my grief.
Yes.
And I'll be damned. I know grief better than you.
Yes. Even though you don't consciously, oh, I think I just disappeared when I moved. You don't consciously know that at the moment that you're like trying to one up them.
Correct.
Yeah.
I didn't at the time. This is all in hindsight.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I did not know it at the time. I knew she was living in her grief
Right.
and it was irritating,
Yes.
but didn't know that
Someone trying to steal your spot, trying to
for
victimhood.
exactly.
What the hell? How
I'm
dare
the victim
her?
over here.
I'm the bigger victim. Wait a minute.
My grief is newer. My grief is bigger. My grief is compound.
Yes, and it deserves more attention from everyone.
Right.
Yes.
And I wasn't throwing it all over the place.
Right. Oh, so you were better than her.
Yes.
Hmm.
I was living in it, but I wasn't.
Oh, yes.
I was wearing it on my sleeve without displaying it, if that
Oh.
makes any
Mhm.
sense.
Yes. So she was kind of a show off.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do believe when I finally realized that whole dynamic, this isn't a person that I have seen. I couldn't, well, I suppose I could find her, but When I realized, I apologized to her higher self if I was ever mean or rude or
Yeah. That's very nice. Yeah.
yeah,
You were in your own shit.
big time, big
Mhm.
time.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Oof. Yeah. Been there with my victimhood.
Stupid victim.
Yes. And for all of you listening, pay attention to that. Do pay attention to those big swings in being emotional,
Mhm.
especially when you're targeting someone. Like there's that one person that just now.
Mhm.
Here's a part though that's sometimes we just don't like people. I mean,
Very true.
not everyone is we're meant to, but it's more than that. You know, when you
And we know.
yes, we do know. Because if
No,
it's someone that I'm just not real fond of, okay, I just kind of stay away from them. You
it doesn't affect us.
doesn't it, you just walk away and that's
Matter
it.
of fact, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can do the little niceties. How are you? Oh, great. Okay. Well, hey, yeah, nice seeing you again. Lie. And then you walk away
Yeah.
and you forget that they were even there.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, because it's
Yeah.
just not. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But when you walk away and you're seething, and the next day you're still like, oh God, why did I have to see that?
And I can't wait to pick up my phone and tell Mari-Lyn, guess who I just saw?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's something. There is something in there.
yeah.
I want to say one more thing about grief.
Oh, please.
Um, it has been my experience that grief really never leaves us.
Right.
We learn
Mm-hmm.
how to maneuver through it, and we do get on the other side of it, but that doesn't mean it's ever gone.
Right.
But what I do know is that grief allows us an opportunity to heal. And if that grief is with you so intensely after a long period of time, like 20 years, there is a wound
Yes.
That is just yearning to be healed.
Yes.
There really is. I would lie if I were to say I never feel grief about anybody I've lost.
Right. Right. No. Sure.
No, I do. And sometimes it comes out of the blue and it hits us.
Yeah.
Which is very different from it being a constant in our life every single day.
And what comes through is if you truly want to honor them, healing yourself is honoring.
Yes. Yes.
It's so
Yes.
you are honoring them. You really are.
Because if that wound is around that person who has died, when we heal, guess what, people? They heal too.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely they do.
Absolutely.
They're just waiting for that. They're hoping for that. They want to hear. So if you really want to honor that person,
Mm-hmm.
healing is the way to do that. And that healing does not mean you forget about them.
Oh gosh, no.
Not even close, but you get to have a new relationship with them in a different
Yes.
way that is
Yes.
so soul honoring, that is
Yes.
so beautiful. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for adding that. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And yet, I
Woo.
feel done. How do you feel about this podcast
I
today?
feel like that might have been a good ending place.
I do too. That beautiful, just honoring. Yeah.
Honoring. Yeah, absolutely.
Lovely. All right, everyone. Thank you. We hope you all had a great Thanksgiving, those of you who partake.
Absolutely.
And all right.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wait.
yes, what?
Yeah. We are going to, this may not start until January. I do want to just throw this out there. So we are going to put more and we really want to hear your opinions on this. Thursday messaging. We have it on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Those of you who listen to the translation is so different because you're not watching
Right.
and you can't. So the Thursday messaging is usually like a pick a leaf,
Pick a
or
card,
pick a card,
right?
or pick a something. So you have, but when you're just on a listen only platform, you can't choose, but you can you can still choose one and then sort of listen to them all.
Mhm.
Let us know what you think about that.
Yes. So we do have one on the listen only
Yes.
platform.
Yes. Came up on
So
Thanksgiving.
yeah, if you haven't, yeah, listen to it and let us know
Hmm?
how much you love it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
So, because we want to make sure Mari-Lyn has been doing the beautiful job of putting Fred's meds on the listen only. That
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, that has been going
Yeah.
well. Pardon me.
Changing the subject?
Yeah. Change the subject much?
Yes. Yeah. And you weren't sure how they would go
I did.
on the
I
listen
was.
only. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just going to do it. I'm just doing it.
Yes.
I'm doing it. And so
Yeah.
every week, it's usually Sunday later in the day. And it's
Yeah.
been
So we're way ahead.
well
Like
received.
YouTube, I think I'm up to like number 68 or 69, something. I
Yeah.
think I just did 68. And on the listen only, they're up to like
12.
12. So,
Mhm.
if you want more, if you're on listen only and you want more, you can certainly go find them, but it's every week. You might as well just stay with them and start
Right.
one and all that. But let us know about that too, what you think of that on the listen
Yeah.
only
Yes. We would
platform.
love to know.
Mhm. So,
All right.
all
Well, thank
right.
you, everybody. We
Yes.
appreciate your support. Again, like, subscribe, share,
Thank
comment, all that good stuff.
you. All right. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.